What is wrong with non-black people wearing box braids? Posting this on my secret account BC. I feel like this question will get a lot of hate. Anyway, I believe that culture is meant to be shared. Box braids being a part of my African culture, I love sharing it with other people. I don't see anything wrong with non-black people wearing braids from my culture. It actually makes me happy. I am confused as to why it's so looked down on. I think it's a beautiful thing to see people wanting to try hairstyles from my culture. I've seen a lot of non-black celebrities get hate for wearing any type of extension braids. It honestly makes me a bit sad. I also don't understand why someone would care so much about someone else's hair. I mean, as long as they aren't being disrespectful to my culture, then what's the problem? If I am being ignorant, please tell me. This is a genuine question. I am biracial, Indian, Black African, from South Africa. I was taught from my dad that it's a sign of cultures merging, and from so many years of segregation, he was happy to see it. Also, my dad was part of the struggle in apartheid. So I definitely grew up in a family circle of open-mindedness, acceptance, and also in an environment where sharing aspects of culture, hairstyles, jewelry etc. was very much encouraged. So from my perspective, I didn't nor do I have a problem with non-black people wearing braids etc. On another note, I have been really badly treated for being biracial by almost every race, ethnic group, and I have been told I'm not black enough to have black hairstyles. So yeah, after experiencing that, I kinda thought that I will never know a person's ethnic history, or whether they grew up in a family of another race and therefore adopted their culture like my brothers, based on assumption, just as others don't know mine. So I ain't gonna judge or be offended unless the people adopting another person's culture is being oppressive or it comes from a place of hate. In conclusion, personally don't think it's wrong for non-black people wearing box braids etc. Some non-black cultures have braided their hair for centuries as well as part of their own culture, as long as it is done with good intentions. Obviously this is just my perspective on things. I think the whole appropriation or only certain cultures can do their cultural stuff is very counterproductive to race relations. I think appreciation of another person's culture is exactly what's needed to bring people together. It gives you shared experiences that you can then use to forge connections with people who are different than you. Edit. Thanks for my first platinum. My admittedly not that well-informed interpretation was that the more reasonable side of this comes from white people being perceived positively when engaging in traditionally black culture and black people being perceived negatively. These things on white people are quirky or boundary-breaking, and on black people they're scruffy and unprofessional. While obviously on an individual level people are just borrowing culture, but on a societal level people feel like it's being taken away when they're the ones who created it. I was always told that box braids are a protective hairstyle for those with that hair texture and that it could damage other textures. Nothing is wrong with embracing another person's culture. The problem comes in when others outside of the culture take credit for inventing, or introducing, said aspect of a culture that's existed for years. For example, I remember when one of the Jenners was credited for introducing box braids to the world when in reality, box braids have existed long before her. That's when people took exception to it. Not to her per se, but to the blogs and media outlets that ignored its existence until she had worn it. Again, not making her the bad guy. Culturally there's criticism because black people have suffered discrimination and racism because of their hair and hairstyles. Whereas white people who co-opt those same hairstyles don't get any criticism. Tension alopecia lul. I think the biggest thing is that for the longest time, black people wearing these hairstyles got hate for it, and now all of the sudden non-black people wear them and it's the most beautiful thing anyone has seen. It's not fair. There's also a component of non-black people who don't understand the history behind the hairstyle and therefore can't have an adequate appreciation for the style. But anyone can have or not have that knowledge, and you can't know what they know just by looking at them. I'm white and grew up in a very white town. My mother had a very good black friend who used to wear her hair in braids. I think I was about 7 and I became obsessed with her hair and taught myself how to braid because I wanted my hair to be all braids like her. I thought it was so cool and fun and pretty and wanted to wear my hair like that for that sole reason. I love braids and braiding so much to this day. I taught myself how to braid in extensions into French braids and was trying to learn how to do box braid at one point. I got a lot of comments from people, "You know you're white, right?" I stopped doing it because I got self-conscious and didn't want to start offending people. I would have loved to learn more about hair and even do it as a side job if I got good enough at it. But I would never want to offend anyone or feel like I'm taking advantage of my white privilege, so I don't do it anymore. You are not being ignorant. It's perfectly fine for non-black people to do whatever they want with their hair. Lol, this place is sad, but reading the comments you'll see more people coming from a place of not wanting to really get to the source but typing up pure ignorance. IDK where you're from, but in America this has been talked about for decades and the reasons why have been made public for probably longer than we've all been alive. The problem is not the braids, clothes or anything else on their own. The problem is the problems black people had to endure for just doing these simple things. This is why race relations will probably never truly be solved because let's be honest. Especially in America, people don't really want to get to the source of these problems and figure out a solution because most people truly don't care. When people raise the issue of white people wearing box braids, it is actually to draw attention to the treatment of black people who wear ethnic hairstyles in some parts of the world. Black people have lost jobs or have been racially profiled on account of their hair. In my opinion, a white person wearing boxed braids cannot be a neutral occurrence till the experiences of black people wearing those hairstyles change. When we reach equality for all races, then the event of a white person wearing braids can finally just be uneventful. At the very least, non-black hair, i.e. white person dead straight hair, generally can't handle box braids. It causes damage and breakage to white hair. Black people are mad because they got looked negative for wearing them and had to change their hair, while non-black people got praises for the same look. For example, Bo Derek, white woman, got all the praise in the world for wearing cornrows. I don't think anyone outside of America is bothered by this sort of stuff, but your hair could fall out lol. Nothing is wrong with it. I'm a black woman, so I'll answer. Inherently nothing is wrong, however the amount of visible stark white scalp is shockingly hilarious to me, someone not used to seeing it. And after I stifle my giggle, I feel concern for the health of the hair and scalp that was never meant or trained to be held in such an extreme style. It looks weird and unnatural, like my hair would look weird and unnatural styled in traditional German Oktoberfest braids. Braids do not belong to the black race, never have, never will. Show me the patent that says they do. You're entering a battle of wits with the witless. I'm white and I gotta say, whenever I see question like this, 80% of people saying it's wrong is just white people crying. So it could just be they are scared to hurt someone non-white? I am white. What I'm saying is just what I've learned from other people. One point I've seen is that black people are insulted and penalized in life for their blackness. Their skin color, certain jewelry, how they wear their hair. And white people are they praised and complimented for tanning and using the same hairstyles. But the difference is they can take it off if it stops being beneficial to them. It was an interesting point and definitely a perspective to be seen, but I know it's not shared by everyone.